Hi, I'm Bruce MacKay, and this is a Green Chair interview, and today we have Andrea Glover from the library, who, I understand, was one of the coordinators on the committee for the Spark conference last year. Can you tell us about the Spark conference?
The Spark conference is probably one of my favorite days of the year on campus. It's a day where people from all over the campus get together and they celebrate teaching excellence, teaching innovation, and a culture of learners and scholars.
How long does it run? How many people were involved last year?
Oh, there's probably about, all of the teaching center and the teaching fellows and everyone on the teaching board. And I believe we hit the magic number, 99. That's how many people came last year, so that was really something. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's one full day?
No, this time it went over a day and a half. And I would love it to be all week, but of course that's a bit much for people. But
what were the events like?
Well, the events, the way that teaching days or the Spark Symposium was structured was we had lecture formats, we had roundtable discussions, panel discussions, poster sessions. So what we tried to do is appeal to everyone's learning style, which is interesting, and teaching style. So that's how we scheduled it. Lots of good food and a time to really sit down with your teaching colleagues, some that you just met that day, and discuss innovation.
And all on campus, right? Were there off-campus
all
people?
On campus. We might have had somebody come from off-campus, like our branch university.
Okay. From Calgary?
Calgary and Edmonton, yeah. We were over in the beautiful Markin Hall, which was a good place because it's nice to get out of your home base. I'm sure the people at Markin Hall wanted to go somewhere else, but that's where we ended up.
It's interesting that you would meet new colleagues from on campus.
Isn't that interesting? That shows you how quite often in our work here, we just get into our own area and our own zone, and we get up and we just do what we have to do that day, and we're just not on automatic but close to. So you will see people's names in passing, maybe on emails or on websites, and you think, oh, that looks like an interesting person, or I've heard a lot about their teaching, or they're obviously highly regarded in their field, but you never really have a time to sit and without students around and talk to people about teaching. So that's what I mean. You meet new colleagues and you re-meet them. Because sometimes we don't even see people for 3 years, even if we're on this campus together. And I think that's kind of a sad thing.
And it must be interesting as well to have all of these people from across campus with different disciplinary homes, but yet all talking about teaching.
Yeah, because there's just one, I've heard people say, well, I don't know what an astrophysicist and a librarian might have in common. Well, there are things that we have in common. We have students in common. We have the desire to teach better and to learn better. So I think it really doesn't matter where you come from. Your discipline, it might be a little bit different how you put your content forward in the class, or perhaps if you're restricted by some content. But when you get together, you see that there's several trends or things about these people that are the same, unique, but the same.
So, and what was your experience coming away from it? How did you feel after being, you worked hard to organize and help get it up and running, but after it was over?
Oh, I was just so excited, and at the end of the time, I have the same reaction I do every time I go. First of all, it's like, when I go to something like this, I'm gold mining. I'm searching for nuggets always, and trying to see if there are things that I can do differently. I also feel that it comes at a good time in the semester in May, so that I'm ready to be re-inspired again. The semester has ended, so I can stop and think about it. I feel refreshed and actually invigorated. And there's also another thing, and the use of the word proud sometimes can be problematic for people, but I'm really proud of the people that we have around us. Often people think you have to go get people from away to show the excellence in teaching, or go to a different university, and we have those people right here. So there's a sense of being surrounded by different kinds of people in different programs who are so wonderful in their field. And you just know that those people that attended are going to do something for you that a lot of people don't get to see, and that's they'll help you. Mm-hmm. That's the coolest thing. So I leave going, I know these people, I know what they're doing. I don't feel any sense of, oh, I'll never keep up. I just go, there are things here that I can do, and I'm going to take some of this stuff home, and I do employ it in some strategies in the classroom. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I don't know I am, because I do tend to steal people's ideas.
Yeah, sure, we all do.
It's plagiarism of the worst kind, I guess, but that's what it is.
Yeah. No, and teaching really is ultimately, though we often end up doing it solo, it really is a collective project of all of us at the university.
Yes.
Yeah. What about the Teaching Center? What was the Teaching Center's role in the conference?
Well, their whole mandate is to foster this excellence in teaching and assist people in opening these doors to possibilities, right? And it's not just about technology or anything. There's support from the people who do schedule the day-to-day activities. There are people who make sure that we get good speakers. We always get good, excellent speakers. Participation, publication, and also literature support for what we're about to do. That's really important, I think. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and all the advertising and...
That's really big.
Yeah. And then sort of spreading the word afterwards, right?
Right, and you can... And we see that, and sometimes I feel a little bit sorry for the Teaching Center, because they do so much, I think, well-placed advertising, and people still go, well, what's Spark? Or, what's going on? What's this about? And so that's where you, in any marketing sort of foray, you have to think about spreading the word and going and inviting people and colleagues, and which harkens back to the whole idea of Spark, is that you can have things in print, you can have things on the web, but it still takes the human interaction to encourage people to come forward and share. So, and they're good with that.
So anything else about Spark that you would like to fire us?
The one thing I think about Spark, which is interesting, is something I say whenever I talk about like the Teaching Center, is coming to these things, there are two things you have to leave at the door. And the first thing is your fear, the fear of embarrassment, or fear of I'm not as good as. And you also have to leave your ego at the door too, and be able to accept supportive criticism and positive reinforcement, and also, maybe you might want to try something else. The other thing that I always think about is kaleidoscoping. So all of us are rather, I believe, competent in the university. We all have a basic level of education, and we have, we should be able to teach a course. But it's the people that take things and just turn it just a little bit. So you're looking at the same concept, but all of a sudden someone will introduce it in a slightly different way, and you see things so clearly. And that's what we want for our students. We want them to think, critically, and we want them to think their own thoughts, not what necessarily others have thought for them. Mm-hmm. So that's what I say is the biggest takeaway from Spark. You're ignited. It's not like you're going to combust, but
you get fired up.
You get fired up, and it lasts. I find that this is the sort of thing that lasts, and you make these lasting collegial teaching friendships that will sustain you through the semester and through some pretty hard times in the classroom.
Excellent. It's great to know.
Yes.
Spark this year.
Oh, I can hardly wait till May.
There you go.
May comes. I just like that is the day also, and I find it a very selfish day, but the rest of my time is, helping students and helping my subject area faculty. But that's a very selfish day, couple of days for me. And it's selfish and also self-centered, but in the end it still benefits the students. But I love taking the time, and I think we all need to. Time for reflection and recharging.
What would you say to a colleague who was uncertain about coming to Spark?
Well, I would say, and I have said to colleagues who are reluctant or unsure, well, I don't teach a full course, or I don't teach credit courses. And, sometimes I just grab my head and I say, oh, but we're in an academic institution. We're always teaching somewhere, particularly in the library. This is a chance for you to share stuff with us. And quite often, people will think they have nothing to share. And they're just quietly going along their teaching lives, thinking they're just good enough when they're actually excellent. So I often will position the argument back to them with, you shouldn't be so stingy with your teaching excellence. You need to come and share it with us. Because if I find out that you've had some classroom management technique, or as I often coin this silly term, teachnique, that you were hoarding that I could possibly use to make my life better, then, that's not fair. Come and share your stuff. And there are people there, you'll be inspired. They're welcoming and kind and funny, and your brain will be just whoosh, ignited. So that's what I do to anybody who's recalcitrant or reluctant. I have a really good marketing pitch.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks.